Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Today, I want to talk about something that I don't think we really talk about too much on the channel, and it is equally, if not more important than the daily news we cover. And by the way, if you are enjoying that daily news, make sure you press the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it a ton. It helps out a lot, and I want to try get to 50,000 subscribers this year. I don't think we'll be able to do it at all, but I'm gonna try put up a goal right there and see if we can work towards that. I think it would be really amazing. And the same goes for comments and likes. I watch them all, guys. I really check through everything, and I really appreciate every single person who likes. So if you just spare a like, it will be really, really appreciated if you enjoy the content. So as I said, today we're going to be talking about something quite different, and it is actually an exit strategy. And I know I've mentioned it a couple of times, and I've shown you guys a retirement plan, but an exit strategy is a little bit different from my initial retirement plan, which we'll be talking about relatively soon as well. The reason I came up with this again was because of James Rule XRP. He posted, I am getting a request for information on XRP exit strategies. I am making a video tonight explaining the attachment. This is not financial advice. It is based on information I have researched for the past 3 years. My main focus at the current time is the XRP entry strategy. And again, I guess some shout out to James Rule here again, because he brought me to this idea to cover this with you guys as well. And I've not checked this video out. Maybe I will do so if he posts it tonight. I do not know if he has already gotten it up, but I will be checking it out later then. So the reason I elaborated on this and why I think it's important is because when he read this, or at least when he wrote this and I read it, I was like, an exit strategy is something that a lot of people are actually not that familiar with, and people don't really get to talk about that often, or don't get to hear about it as often either. And then I was like, you know what? I don't really think I gave my full opinion on YouTube either on an exit strategy and how I think the best way to do it is. Right? So straight off the bat, there's a couple of scenarios and a couple of ways to do it. And when we're talking about exit strategy, we're trying to say getting some money out of your investment. And that would mean, in this case, XRP, getting some money that you've created now or gotten or profited out into your pocket and to really be usable, right? And I got to point out 3 scenarios right there. One is you keep all your money in XRP because the longer you invest, the richer you're going to become. That's one mentality. 2 is you just at first take out initial value. So for example, if you bought $1,200 worth of XRP, you first wait till it's, for example, XRP at $5, and then you reap all the benefits, the $1,200, so you're risk-free. And 3 is, you just get to a certain point, which is, for example, $5 per XRP, you cash out everything. Or you cash out a majority chunk, let's say 75% or 50%. And then if it goes higher to another, let's say 50% higher, then you cash out the rest, and you're just done. You've made a lot of profit. Those are the 3 basic things that people do. And there's, of course, some smaller variations in that, right? And to just briefly also explain one variation is from the first one, which was you just hold on to XRP for life. The reason I am kind of against that one is because if you hold on to just your XRP for always, there's a chance that you'll never be able to buy, or at least not for a very long time, for example, a new house or a car or whatever you wanted to buy with your newly generated money. The other side to that, though, is that if you're holding on, you're most likely assuming that this whole world is going to adapt around XRP, and thus, the longer you hold on, the higher of a chance there is that you will be able to use your XRP to buy a car. And I completely get that. So from that perspective, again, it's not a bad idea to just wait it out all the way, because then in the end, you don't have to switch to a dollar value, and the amount of XRP will dedicate how much money you have, and thus is the only way to do it. That's one. For the second, a couple of variations was that some people are going to be debating, and I can understand that, as to when you should be taking out your first initial dollars. And that actually applies to this exit strategy that he explained here. XRP exit strategy. Total investment is $1,450. Now, the purchase price varied from 0.006 cents, he means dollars, to $0.99. Log purchase price for every transaction and do it like this. So right now, I recommend you to get yourself a pen and paper or go on your computer or whatever and write it down. So the date you first purchased your XRP and all the dates below it you bought XRP, put in the amount of XRP you bought and then at what price. And then of course add it up or multiply it and you'll get a amount of money you spend on what amount of XRP. It's actually important that you do so for your own self-consciousness and so you know all the numbers we're going to be talking about. If you do that for all the different amount of XRP you have, and you can deduct some sells you've done already if you want to. But if you've done that for all the XRP you've bought, you'll get to a line like this. Total investment in 23,000 XRP is $1,450. This will, of course, deviate for anybody, and these are just examples, not actual purchases, nor maybe actual prices. It's just an idea. Exit strategy will be based on ROI, which is return on investment, and then percentage will vary based on XRP price and hold options. XRP at $3, sell 483.3 XRP and recoup initial investment of 0.02% of the bag at $1,150. 22,000 XP remaining. So to briefly explain there, the way you're going to do it right here in this example is you're going to be waiting until a certain point, for example, XRP $3, and then you recoup your initial investment, which in this case is just, I believe, 2% of the total. I don't think it's 0.02%. I think it's 2% of the total. Doesn't matter, but you guys get the idea there. It's just a small portion. At that point, you cash it out, you get your initial money back. I mean, it's not completely back, so I don't know exactly what the purpose was there. But you at least get, let's say, 80% of your initial investment back. So you're not making any more risk here, right? You don't have any risk because you've taken out your initial money. Then once XRP hits, for example, $10, you sell another, let's say, for example, quarter of your bag or 22% and get yourself $50,000 worth, which in that sense looks pretty damn good. And then moving forward at XRP $20, you sell another big bag, for example, another 50% of that bag or another 22%. And then at $100, you sell another. And then, for example, at another point, you sell another amount of XRP. That's a strategy. That's definitely a good strategy. And why would this be a good one, right? And I'm also explaining why the rest will be a good one. The first one would be a good one because, I mean, you're assuming the adoption is really going to get there all the way. You're assuming that everything is going to be built upon XRP, and you're assuming that you don't need those dollars to have a really lavish life. And I think this strategy would more so be a good thing for people who already have a good job or who already have good finances and thus don't need this extra XRP, so they can take the risk. If you can't take the risk, I would not recommend it. Strategy 2, which is the one we just explained here with the exit strategy in terms of like parts, is good for the average Joe, for every average person, because in this way you're actually minimizing your risk while still opening yourself up to a lot of potential profit. But first, of course, cashing out your initial investment, meaning you really are not risking any more loss at this point. The only bet you're placing in this point is that XRP gets up to a value that you've, of course, discussed with yourself at first so that you can get out your initial investment. Good sides, as I said before, is that low risk over the whole process. Bad side is you're going to have to, in the back of your head, get a couple of numbers in at which you want to cash out. And if you're not good with those numbers, I would just recommend to go for every dollar value. So go for, you cash out a small bit, depending on what your average price is, just times 2. So you cash out your initial investment once you've doubled your money is a possibility, or once you've, like, for example, 10 times your money or 5 times your money. It just depends on how much risk you are willing to take and how much you can take and how much money you've invested. That all depends. And I really can't fill that in for you because everybody will have a different opinion on that. And then I guess the last and least favorite opinion of mine is to go for the half-half strategy or the big risk-it-all strat. And what that is basically you skip these first parts. You kind of skip like you get a bag out. You kind of skip like the 22% of the bag. No, you just have for example, this could even go so if you're like really trading. You just get a stop loss in place, in theory. not in practice. You get a stop loss in place, and you're like, all right, if it goes to this point, I'm either selling it, and getting back at a different point. If it goes to a higher point, for example, you bought it $1. If it now goes to $2, I'll cash out, let's say, for example, maybe 75%, because you've now made 100% profit. So you've doubled your money, which is definitely good. And then if it goes below again, I'll just take the loss because it's worth it. If it goes above it, I'll cash out the other 25% in maybe one or two, for example, other opportunities. But more so, the point is there that you cash out once you've already gotten yourself a lot of profit. Good side about it is, if you get profit, you really get some profit. You get it quickly, get it simply. You don't have to think about it too much. You're not exposing yourself to much risk. Downside is you're not exposing yourself to a lot of risk, meaning you're not exposing yourself to a lot of profit potential. And also, if the price goes to $2 right now, you make yourself 100% profit, and then it goes to $50, you've only gotten a quarter, 25% of your money to lead you all the way to $50, right? Because you've cashed out most of it already. And thus, if it goes to $10,000 per coin right now, you just really didn't get that much of the benefits, right? Which is, of course, the bad side to it all, which is why I always will kind of recommend against a hard approach like that unless you really, really know what you're doing. And I would say every one of these points has its own good sides and bad sides. And the same as I always talk about in the retirement strategy, it just depends on what your goals are, how much money you have to spend, what your expectations are of XRP price. And you just got to write it all down for yourself, guys. And really trust me on that one when I say writing down is key in this sense. If you just know for yourself how much you want, what your thoughts are, it can help you ridiculously much. And I'll give you guys my own example then. When I started investing, I think it's a long time ago. It's like maybe 8 years ago, for example. I don't really know. When I started investing, I always had a goal, right? I always had a goal of how much money I wanted to earn, or how much money I wanted to earn each day, or at least every year, and then divided by the amount of days in a year, or every month and then divided by the amount of months. So I would know how much I would have to earn on average every day. I always had that in the back of my head. And of course, it never got there because things don't work that way. But what I always had in my mind is what I wanted to get to and what I would do if I got it and whatnot. And in the end, what it motivated me towards was that I tried to work my way towards the certain goal I had. And one thing that always helped me is that I knew that if I were to keep my money in the same thing always and never cash out, I would always be rich on paper, right? I could always have anything that I wanted, but I could never buy anything off of it. I could never invest it into anything else. Why? Because I've always gotten it locked up in this thing, which is what kept me from ever making that mistake again of just leaving your investment to go forever and never being able to use it. All right, that's talking about if you're spending most of your money on investing. If XRP is just your side project, you're like, I just put in 10% of my income every month. I'll see what happens. If it goes to zero, I take it. If it goes to $10 billion per coin, I'm taking that as well. Hey, then you're doing better than I am. All right. If you're that dedicated, then that's awesome. All right. And for all the people actually that are that dedicated to put a certain amount of their income into crypto, that's really props to you, man. I gotta give you a little clap. I'm just gonna little clap for you, because that's real dedication, which I like in that sense. It's so difficult to put in a steady amount every month. I always vary. One month I put in a huge amount. Next month I don't put anything because I'm too nitbitty with it as well. I want to get the lowest average price possible. But sometimes it's better to just get yourself some coins than none at all. I know it, but yeah. One thing I should just always recommend you guys to do is get a good strategy in place, know what you want, know what type of extra strategy you were going to go for, and let me know in the comment section, are you a type 1, 2, or 3 person? Are you going to go big or go home, like most people, I think? Are you going to go the most, I think, responsible route, which is, again, not as fun, not as promising? Or are you going to go for the, I guess, like the half-assed route of not having that much faith and being the safe-ass guy? Let me know in the comment section down below. Because yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see, guys. I think it's pretty cool to see what some other people are doing, and also what points you would cash out at, and what points would you cash out different amounts of money. And again, if you want more about this and you don't really get the full perspective of this video yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be posting a retirement video explaining everything you kind of need to have in place to be able to retire through XRP. I'll just explain all the things around it, and I think you guys get the full picture then. So yes, if you enjoyed it, make sure you press the like button and subscribe for more. I'm also doing a couple of videos on the Dusty Finance channel. A link's in the description below. I post videos on there. I think I'm going to be doing it every couple of days, which have no advertisements on them. Links in the description. And also don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I have a new goal of 50,000 subscribers. Thank you all. See you guys again in another crypto video.